This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, starting at verse 1. Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Verse 2. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Verse 3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. Verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. I want to start off by giving all praises, all honor, and all glory to Kol Haloyim La Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai Ba'Hashem Rachak Kodesh V'Gadam. Double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and their freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and Yakim out there listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, appearing like the other nations, subscribing to this truth. To you I say Shalom. It's Brother Yahweh Sap out of the GMS Cleveland Church, your fellow servant, coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And basically, I came across this article. I started with this Ecclesiastes because brothers that's in the faith and in the truth, they know the breakdown of that scripture, or they should, that when you go into the word writers is going into them jobs, and although they're talking about, it's basically it's just like all these positions open, and everything's the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I also know some people that's having luck with jobs and some people that's not, and this article kind of proves it. Now this is in Florida, mind you. This is in Florida where you literally just opened up the ports, and you need workers to actually take those goods off of those containers, you know. So if it's a shortage, you shouldn't have one in Florida, you know what I mean? Because like I say, you got multiple. I mean, they, like I said, that's one of the ports that opened, and actually, I believe it was I guess they governor or somebody made a statement saying basically if you got goods, you need to ship them come through Florida port, because Gavin Newsom in California, his port is still shut down. And I think the ones in like Baltimore and whatnot, the ports along that area, I think they're still shut. But for sure, California's is. They talking about it's like $22 billion just sitting on the water, and that's food. It says Florida workers disproves labor shortage complaints by applying for 60 entry-level jobs and getting one interview. So this is by Rochelle Sharp 2 days ago. A Florida worker has revealed he applied for 60 entry-level jobs in 1 month and got just one interview despite widespread complaints of a labor shortage from business owners. Joey Holtz, who has experience working in the food service industry, applied for 2 jobs every day from September 1st to September 30th in the local Fort Myers and Lee County area. Of the 60 roles he applied for, Host said he received just 16 email responses, spoke to 4 of those companies by phone, and had only 1 interview. So that's proven that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said again, I know the will of the Lord. If the Lord wants you to work, I know brothers that got records. I got a record, yet and still, for the most part, I've worked throughout the truth, because it's the will of the Lord. When I was going through my testimony, I got skills and couldn't get a job. That was the will of the Lord. You know what I mean? Like, right. So, I mean, I know it's different strokes, different folks. The grace of Yahweh Shem Yahushua be on some brothers, But, like I say, again, I don't, because in actuality, they don't want you working. The elder Ariala from Dallas did a beautiful video. He was going into the MOTB system, and he was talking about the supply chain and how intricate this is, and they purposely did this. And how basically, because eventually it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna automate everything. They got a system. I forgot what it's called. I actually checked it out. I was gonna do actually some more research and do a video on it, but like I said, life and Shantan. And but long story short, they got a system in place where they can actually, like, they don't need to use workers to basically clean out or carry out or pick up and carry out the containers from out of the containers. They got an automated system. Now it costs us a lot of money, but eventually we gonna move to that direction because everything is about to be automated. That's why you got robot dogs with sniper rifles on their back, and that's why you got drones that's gonna be flying around the perimeter. When you go really check into or flying around the city to watch everything. Because the brothers was bringing out at camp yesterday. They were saying how when you really been a piece of shit ass devil like this devil has been, they don't sleep as well as you think. I mean, like Scripture says, they don't sleep unless they do um, have done wickedness, roughly paraphrased. But they really not sleeping like that because we out there on the highways and hedges and they hear this. And trust and believe they hear this and see this. Uh, you know, and then, like I said, they know in their heart that what the wickedness they have done. So they worried about when they gonna get taken down, if they gonna get taken down. Why do you think they prepare like this? Why do you think they already got bunkers and what I mean? Like this is real, you know. But when you go into not to digress, I was just gonna say this much. When you go into with the wall that Trump was trying to build, it's not a regular wall like you think. Like how you might when you hear wall, you think of it like just no. This wall is supposed to be like an automated wall so where drones fly around. So if you got people trying to cross the border or sneak into the over the border, they could catch them and all that. Right? Because when you go into the Mexican border wall, that wall is miles and miles and miles. So those border patrol can't really patrol that correctly. You know what I mean? Like not the way that they want. That's that wall that I forgot where I came across the information at, but the wall that America envisioned was gonna have like automated machine gun turrets on it, like AI powered machine gun turrets. It was gonna have drones flying around. Yeah, because we coming into that fourth industrial revolution. Everything's about to be automated, so they don't really need to have a use for a person that's not. I mean, because everything will be automated. They talking about Amazon gonna be dropping your packages off. You won't even have to leave the house. Why do you think they got things like Masterclass? You know what I mean? All these celebrities and people that you could just they got these classes you could just watch on the. Why do you think they started? I mean, because that's what the stimulus check was basically. You know, a testing of UBI, Universal Basic Income, and then things are doing so bad. Like I said, for them to have to do a fourth stimulus. Since the 37-year-old said he specifically targeted companies that have been vocal about government stimulus money luring people away from seeking employment. Host said his research showed this complaint little more than a myth. Are these places hiring? That's what their internet ad said, and are they desperate for help? Yes, according to their loud lamentations on Facebook. But so far, one interview where the advertised hours and pay were misrepresented after 58 applications says y'all aren't desperate for workers, you just miss your slaves, he wrote. Right. And that's why you had a lot of people that was like walking off like whole restaurant crews just closing it or walking off, because these people basically are now, you got a lot of jobs going 15, 18. I mean, like minimum wage now is supposed to be the $15. There's just a lot of companies not paying that. But yet still they expect the same work or more. Well, when you go into the price of living, like they brought that out at camp yesterday, when you go into the price of living, like I remember my dad basically retired from the post office. I think when, I don't know if he didn't pay child support because he got custody of the children. But I remember I came across some paperwork he had when they was going to court or something. And at the time when he was going to court, I was born in '78. I think they got their divorce or whatever like in the early '80s. I know he was making like $5 or $6 or $7. Like he wasn't making, like, but yet still that paid for everything. Now that we live in a day and time where price of living has gone up extremely, so that $15 is really like minimum wage. So those that's under that are under the poverty line. And has unemployment benefits, which gave up to 300 extra a week to people who lost their jobs during the pandemic, ended back on Labor Day. Florida, along with 26 states, axed its participation in the federal unemployment program even earlier after Governor Ron DeSantis decided to cut off the benefits in June. If this extra money that everyone's supposedly living off of Salakia, if this extra money that everyone's supposedly living off of stopped in June and it's now September, obviously that's not what's stopping them, he told Business Insider. Holtz decided to try to get to the bottom of the matter and first sent off job applications for 2 restaurants. He then continued to send 2 applications per day to other companies advertising. Holtz told Insider he didn't apply for any roles that he wasn't qualified for and none that were offering over 12 an hour. I didn't apply for anything that required a degree. I didn't apply for anything that said must have 6 months experience in this thing. He said despite targeting companies he said were most critical about the government unemployment benefits and a lack of applicants they argued they were causing, as well as the radio silence for most companies he applied to. Even the solitary interview he went on wasn't what it seemed, he said. The job advert had been for a full-time job paying $10 an hour for a construction company. Holtz said he was told at the interview that he would be paid Florida's minimum wage of $8.65. That's the spirit. Yet and still, like I said, you got places in certain parts of the country, like in Seattle, most people making $15. That's why Amazon, when they came here, started people, when Amazon came to Cleveland, they started most people off at $15. And people thinking that's such a good pay rate, but $15 to show you is like the minimum wage. That's why literally people be broke after $15. And I'm talking about people that, like, I got children, so you know how that go. But you got people that literally don't have children but making that and still be broke because the price of the cost of living has went up. He says, Holtz said he believes his is a familiar story to many as he accused companies of treating staff like slaves. Rather than a shortage of people willing to work, many workers say they are instead refusing to accept jobs that pay low wages and offer no benefits to staff. And that's the mindset of most people right now. You know what I mean? And, you know, because that's an example of why you, like I said, you had whole restaurants just the whole restaurant quit because again, like I said, you not paying a fair wage, but you literally expected more work. You know, so you know, it's kind of like I was listening to a video. I forgot who made it, but it was talking about the truck driver for short. I think it was the elder, not the Zakba from South Carolina. He was saying, well, he was playing a news clip, and it was a trucker. He was a Jake, and he was saying how basically, like when you understand trucking, you get paid like every mile, depending on, you know what I mean, like, so you might get $3 a mile. You know, it depends on what kind of trucking you're doing, but if you, for the most part, just moving goods, you get paid a certain amount for each mile. So you might get $3 a mile, you might get $1 a mile. You know what I mean, with this cargo, and then they might pay you for gas and yada yada yada. Long story short, well, they saying now because of this trucker shortage, and then how they actually doing with these goods, you got truckers that's going all the way out there. I mean, back in the day, you could drive for like all night, and that's why it's a shortage of truck drivers because, of course, they retired, but also a lot of people jumped out of the field because of these new stipulations and restrictions. You know, like as a truck driver now, you only could drive like 11, 12 hours. Then I think you got to take the break for your lunch and whatnot. And they said the guy was saying like literally you get to these ports and you got to spend hours actually offloading the supplies. Back in the day, the trucker didn't have to actually um, like unload or load the trailer. So it's you know, this is just an appetite for disaster. But I mean, because if you could clearly see what's coming, I mean, you know, like I said, you got people fed up, you got people frustrated, you got people. That's why you got all these carjackings. I mean, like I said, like certain places in certain cities, you know, shit going on. You know, because you had a time when you had people getting stimulus and people didn't, or you had people getting them PPE loans and being goofy and telling everybody what they got, and next you know they getting robbed and shit. So you know, but when I seen the article, I just you know made me come think about the spiraling of this place and how it's going down. You know, so I thought of you know of course that, and then I thought of Isaiah chapter 19. I thought of that Ecclesiastes, and then this is Isaiah chapter 19, and this is Isaiah chapter 19. I'm gonna start at verse 14. The Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Because I mean, look at the spirit of this place. Like I said, I mean, it's a confusing, a confusing spirit. This is the place where they could tell a man he could be a woman could be a man. Like I said, you got people that could get it. I mean, especially my city, like they don't play with the anything going against the woman, and I'm talking. It could be a verbal domestic violence. Dudes go to jail for that. I'm talking about, but not just like you just sleep it off one night type shit. Like you get your case. Like Cleveland is one of the only cities that literally have a fifth degree felony. Most states don't. Most cities don't. That's petty. You give you 6 months for some. You know what I mean? Just to anyhow. But then this is the same country that'll literally let a man turn into a woman, knowing that he a man, but he feels he's a woman, so that's what he is. And then he can go get in the ring and beat the shit out of the And that's why you see in this place staggering the way it's staggering, because it's about to fall. This whore is exposed. She gonna fall with her skirt right over her head. Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or the tail, branch or rush may do. And I mean, like a perfect example is this guy speaking on that. Because, you got more people quitting, more and more. You got a lot of companies folding. I want to say with the job I'm at, I mean, although I don't know the ins and outs of everything, because, I don't think they would tell me everything. But, you got to remember, they're not letting goods get into the country like that because they're stuck on the ports. That's affecting people's businesses, because you need certain goods to actually send out to keep your company running. I deal with containers and whatnot, and we deal with like we recycle and reclaim containers depending on what kind of industry you in, or we might make new bottle containers. And we can't. Well, from what I hear, they're having trouble getting the new bottles because of a material made in it, uh, and that's affecting their business. So yeah, this thing is going it's gonna have a ripple effect. Call Loyum La Yabashim Yashabashim Rakhakotas. So yeah, we're at the end. I got one last scripture. This is second Ezra chapter 9. I'm gonna start at verse 1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs pass, when I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, which you're seeing, says verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And we're seeing the end manifest right now. These signs, these tokens that's written of in the scriptures, we're seeing manifest. We're seeing them come to pass. We're seeing them actually. We're speaking them into existence. Actually, that's what brother was saying. A prophet. What does it say? Prophesy to say, speak, or to speak before, to say before. Fasai, say. Pro before. So anyway, the Most High, it tells you that He spake in the book of Luke, first chapter 1, verse 70. It say, He spake through the mouth of His prophets since the beginning. The Most High has always used the prophets to actually bring or speak the words of what He intended. That's why it's greater to prophesy. When Paul went into the different gifts, you know, when you really take the time to think about it, if you really read the scriptures and understand the accounts and whatnot, the prophets always were had a deeper relationship with the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. David was a man after his own heart, but even when David went off, he didn't even think he went off. You know what I mean? It took the prophet Nathan to come tell him he went off. You know what I mean? So, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, all I can say is if you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Americans, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed, like the elder Apostle Tahar said. A lot of you motherfuckers gonna die. You know what I mean? And like I said, Scripture said in Second Philippians chapter 2 that you got to seek out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Can't no other man, apostles can't save you. You know what I mean? This is a individual thing. It's a group thing. It's a body thing, of course, of course. But it's an individual thing as well. You got to understand when it is. You know what I mean? Like, well, yeah, you could come together and do the work with the brotherhood and whatnot, but then when you are not amongst the brotherhood, who's keeping you um basically grounded and doing the will of the work of Yahweh Shabbat Shah? Who's keeping you focused? Are you focused? What are you doing with your time outside of being around a brother? And I've seen that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say this again. If the Lord gave you that spiritual eye salve that you could see what's coming on, or what's going on rather, Salakia, like I said, now's the time to get your shit right, because we ain't got much longer. If you can, that brothers doing videos about how NATO is looking at, what I mean, like Russia and shit, like that's World War III. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's only two major prophecies left: the chip and World War III. All the other little prophecies, like I forgot who was just speaking on that, like how the Lord setting everything up. It tells you the Book of Psalms 119. Let the Lord work, because they have. It's time for the Lord to work, because they have made void thy law. Let me make sure I would have butchered it. It is time for the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh to work, for they have made void thy law. And right, God. And you see the Lord working now. But at the end of the day, how he's, that's why it tells you how you can't out checkmate the Most High. You know what I mean? Like he said, it's like Final Destination. If you ever watched that franchise, it was certain ones that people got away, but at the final destination, nobody got away. And that's what made that movie to me cold. I liked that concept, because you got all these movies where what I mean, like the good guy, like Clint Eastwood. He was always that actor that would get his ass whooped, and then he'll go get that pistol. Clint Eastwood, like, if me, I always thought he was a Edomite. You know what I mean? Like, I think somebody said they think he's Jake. I mean, I just know him from his movies. I know he was a composer too, but you know, more so I know him from the movies. And like I say, he just reminded me, like I say, he always get in a fist fight, get his ass whooped. And majority, I've never seen a movie like John Wayne will whoop your ass with his fist and shoot you with the pistol. He's willing to get his ass whooped and then go get the pistol and fuck everything up. So I always thought he was an Edomite, but Salaki for the digression. My bad. Bouncing around, but anyhow, yeah, the Lord is about to do a work that none of us will forget. You know what I mean? So with that, I'm going to end the lesson. Lord willing, it was edifying. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem, Rachakodas Kratham, double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwath and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willingly is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. Until next time, I may become with another lesson. Shalom, shalom. Mawatha Labba Shalom.